Hello and welcome back to the FPL Time YouTube channel. In today's video we'll be covering my final draft for Game Week 1. Personally, in my opinion, I do believe this to be the best draft for Game Week 1. I do believe it's going to give you a massive edge in terms of your rank and over your mates in your FPL mini leagues. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please like, comment and subscribe. And you know what, because it's the start of the season, let's see if we can try and hit 50 likes on today's video. That would be absolutely amazing. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's dive into my final Game Week 1 draft. And start off our Game Week 1 draft, we have David Raya in goal. I personally believe he is the best 4.5 million goalkeeper out there. Obviously, Brentford have some amazing fixtures to start off the season. Leicester, Man United, Fulham, Everton, Crystal Palace, Leeds, Southampton and Arsenal. Last year for David Raya, he did play 24 games, getting 8 clean sheets and collecting 95 points along the way. Obviously, one of the concerns is the fact that Brentford did sign an experienced goalkeeper from Lazio. However, it does look like it is David Raya's place to lose. Obviously, the other goalkeeper hasn't played any pre-season games. From what I could kind of gather with my research. So I do believe it is David Raya's place to lose. I really like him. I think you could go for Sanchez as well from Brighton. Two excellent goalkeepers playing for teams that have really good underlying defensive data from last year. So yeah, very much like them two as the cheap goalkeeper options. Moving on to the back line, we start with Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now, Trent should be in everyone's team. Honestly, played absolutely amazing yesterday in the Community Shield, getting that wonderful goal. Was fantastic as well yesterday, just showing the kind of all-round good ability that he has and the amazing value that he is for 7.5 million within the game. Last season, 12 assists, 2 goals, just honestly, just amazing value. Was the highest scoring defender in FPL and had the second most bonus points last season, only one behind KDB. Real no-brainer if you're going for Trent. Obviously, Liverpool have amazing fixtures as well to start the season. Fulham away should be an easy, clean sheet for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Moving on to our next defender is a man who's coming back into our teams. Obviously started in everyone's kind of FPL drafts when the game was initially launched. However, it did look like Perisic wasn't going to be able to start the season. It didn't look like he was fit enough to play any preseason games, dealing with a few injury issues. However, back-to-back preseason games for him. Spurs fans were very impressed with his performance last night against Roma as well. So it's really what we want to see from Perisic. Obviously, everyone knows what Conte wingbacks are about. They're about attacking, they're about energy, they're about getting attacking returns, and that is what we absolutely love on FPL as well. Last season for him, 35 games, 8 goals, 6 assists within the wing-back position. I do believe that he's going to start making his way back into people's drafts. I think his ownership was already at 29% at the time of recording. I bet that will just continue to rise, especially after the press conferences come out and Conte says he's fit, he's going to play in that first game. Honestly, he could be an absolutely amazing FPL asset this year, especially at 5.5 million. Moving on to our next defender, it is Reece James, another man who's been pretty much a stalwart within my FPL drafts since making them. Last season for him, 26 games, 5 goals, 9 assists. Second highest Chelsea scoring defender last year. Only 9 points behind Rudiger despite playing 8 games left. I think that just so shows the explosivity of these fullbacks, their attacking potential, just absolutely everything is mesmerising and absolutely essential to doing well in FPL this year. One of my big concerns though with the Chelsea kind of backline is the fact that there's new additions. Obviously they've got to kind of get used to playing with each other, and Reece James has played multiple positions within pre-season. Arsenal, he played in a back four at right back. Against Charlatan, he played at right centre back in pre-season, and then against Udinese he played at right wing back, the position we want to see him in. I do think if he potentially shifts to other positions, I will look at other options. Just because at 6 million I don't think he's potentially worth that, but if he's at right wing back and shows the same explosivity as he did last season, then he could be absolutely amazing. Chelsea have honestly just ridiculous fixtures as well to start the season. They take on Everton, Tottenham, Leeds, Leicester, Southampton, West Ham, Fulham and Liverpool. Obviously the Tottenham and Liverpool games in there that just down it a little bit, but some honestly wonderful fixtures for Chelsea. He's going to get some clean sheets and hopefully some attacking returns. And finally, moving on to our final defender within the team, it is last season's second highest point scorer, João Cancelo. Obviously, last season scored 201 points, getting 1 goal, 11 assists. Yeah, I really like João Cancelo. He wasn't in my last draft video because I went for Kyle Walker, but I've kind of, woke up from my idiocy and saw that Walker over Cancelo, yeah, it's just not going to end well, is it? Wearing the number 7 shirt this year as well, so hopefully a few more attacking returns. 81 shots for him last season, the most amongst defenders. Only second closest was Trent with 51, so hopefully he can add a few more goals to his game. Everyone knows how amazing City's opening 8 fixtures are: West Ham, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Nottingham Forest, Aston Villa and Tottenham and Wolves. Yeah, there's some really good, really appetising fixtures, and I expect João Cancelo to keep at least maybe 5 clean sheets if you can pick up some attacking returns along the way as well. Absolutely mesmerising stuff. The City double up in defence is definitely on as well if you can afford it with Edison. Maybe you look to add Kyle Walker as well if City don't sign another fullback. It looks like the Cucurella deal's pretty much off, so it does look like Kyle Walker will definitely start the season. So for me, the City double up is on. But something that was a little bit concerning was the fact that City didn't look as fluid as they usually do yesterday in the Community Shield. Just looked like they'd potentially were showing the effects of not playing as many pre-season games as Liverpool. Maybe, that Community Shield game's a little bit of a wake-up call for them, getting back into rhythm, getting back, obviously, to the levels that we expect from Manchester City, and hopefully they can kick on really well in the start of the season, especially for our FPL assets. But let's move on to the midfield of this team. And to start off our midfield, we go for one of the most owned enablers within the game this season. It is Pedro Neto, having a wonderful preseason so far for Wolves. 2 goals in 4 games, plenty of minutes after an injury-riddled season for him after last year, only playing 13 games, getting 1 goal and 1 assist. Obviously, a lot of the hype is coming over the season prior to that, where Neto did play 31 games, getting 5 goals and 6 assists. He's a wonderful player in a... I don't really know how to describe Wolves, to be honest. They're not the most attacking team. 19th for expected goals last year, which was a little bit of a concern, especially when picking Pedro Neto. I'm still not 100% sure on him. I think he's one of the positions that is definitely up for debate, especially after Bailey scoring again. That's 3 goals for him in pre-season. Obviously scored that wonderful goal as well in terms of against Manchester United. So I am a little bit concerned about Pedro Neto. I do believe I could potentially save that extra $500,000 and drop him down to Bailey. He is one of the positions that is potentially up for grabs within my team. I know a lot of people have Pedro Neto. Do you have Pedro Neto in your side, or are you going for Bailey? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm leaning at the moment more towards Neto, but I'm open. I am open to having Leon Bailey within my side. I do like Pedro Neto though. I am a little bit concerned as well with kind of how this Wolves attack is going to function without Jimenez. I'm not obviously too clued up on Wolves and kind of the way their system works. So if there are any Wolves fans in the comments, let me know how, this system's going to work without Jimenez. But we're sticking with Pedro Neto at the moment. Obviously, a lot of people have gone with him as well, and I do believe he is potentially one of the best enablers at the start of this season. Moving on to the next midfielder, it is Mohamed Salah, off the back of a wonderful performance in the Community Shield with a goal plus an assist. Easy captaincy pick for Game Week 1. Not blanked in Game Week 1 since joining the Premier League, and loves to score against newly promoted sides as well. Last year, goal and assist against Norwich. No, goal and 2 assists, against Norwich in Game Week 1, and the season prior to that, a hat-trick against newly promoted Leeds. Last year, 35 games, 23 goals, 14 assists, 265 points. Wonderful season for Mohamed Salah. I do believe that he's going to start in the exact same vein as last year. Wonderful fixtures as well for Liverpool: Fulham, Palace, Man United, Bournemouth, Newcastle, Everton, Wolves and Chelsea. Real easy Game Week 1 captaincy option. A wonderful player, and if you continue the Community Shield form into the season. That's just what we want to see. That's the Salah we like. That's the Salah that is going to have that 100 plus EO every single week. That's the Salah we love. But let's move on to his fellow Liverpool player in midfield. It is Luis Diaz, a player who I wasn't convinced by in the Community Shield. Obviously, a lot of people have now gone for Robertson over Diaz. Yeah, I do believe that is probably the right move. I just prefer the 4-4-2 down to the flexibility within the team that it allows me to do. If Diaz doesn't start the season well, that I can move him to Mount. I could upgrade him to Bowen. Obviously, after the City fixture, West Ham do have some really, really nice fixtures. Obviously, there's some options as well at the 7 million range. You got Grealish, you got Harvey Barnes, you have James Maddison, you got Sancho, you got the United players a little bit cheaper than that as well with Rashford. So there's plenty of options. I don't want that 7 million to be stuck within the back line. I really like the defense already within this team. I think it's nice and strong. So I like this 4-4-2 down to the flexibility. But we're going with Diaz. Fulham, obviously a newly promoted side. Hopefully Diaz can get himself on the score sheet. Last year for Liverpool, 4 goals, 3 assists in 13 games. But for the first half of the season with Porto, 18 games, 14 goals and 4 assists with a goal plus assist per 90 of 1.09, ladies and gentlemen. If he can put up them numbers at 8 million, wow. Wow. He will be absolutely amazing value for money. I'm still sticking with Diaz, like I said, just down to the fluidity and kind of the ability to change my team easily and not kind of have that 7 million lumped at the back. I don't want to have too much money at the back. I think four premium defenders is enough for this team, so that's why we've gone for Diaz. But again, he is another player up for kind of deliberation and will be kind of a last minute decision whether or not he stays within my team. But moving on to the final midfielder within our team, and it is Gabriel Martinelli, who is making his way into my team for the first time this season. Last year, 29 games, 6 goals, 7 assists. Looks fairly nailed down to the fact that ESR has been pretty much injured for the majority of pre-season, not really getting any minutes under his belt, off the back as well of a wonderful performance against Sevilla with 2 assists. Originally I have had Rashford in my team, but like I said within my Manchester United video, why you should avoid Manchester United players, obviously go and check that one out. I wanted to see them up against a better opponent. They drew to Villa 2-2 and then they lost to Atletico Madrid. Rashford didn't really put up any trees in them performances as well, and kind of just, yeah, I think if I can save that 0.5 million and go for Gabriel Martinelli with potentially better fixtures as well, let the United players settle in. They have 2 really nice fixtures before they play Liverpool, so then at that point I'll have a clearer idea of what I want to do with potentially having United players. Also, Cristiano Ronaldo coming back it's just a turn off in terms of like FPL assets. Obviously he is a wonderful player, but I think he just disrupts the rhythm and the flow of that United side, so I'm just not as keen, and especially off the back of Martinelli and Arsenal performing really well in pre-season. That is why I'm going for Martinelli in the midfield. But let's move on to our attackers within the side. And moving on to our forward line, we're going to start with Harry Kane, absolutely killing it in pre-season for Spurs. 5 goals in 4 games. Kane obviously has a wonderful Premier League record and a wonderful record as well against Southampton. 18 games, 11 goals, 8 assists. What we want to see from our Game Week 1 team. Players who've got really good numbers against the opposition that they're playing. Obviously, I've been singing the praises of Haaland pretty much all pre-season, and yeah, I wasn't 100% convinced by his performance yesterday. I could see that there was potentially a little bit of a lack of communication, lack of kind of connection, cohesion with the rest of his side. Obviously, Kevin De Bruyne got quite frustrated with him on numerous occasions, looking to kind of play him in, and he just wasn't quite making the right runs. So I think it is going to take a little bit of time for Haaland to potentially settle within the Premier League. So I think it makes a lot more sense for me and my team to go for a settled Premier League player who knows the league, knows how to get goals in this league, and is a wonderful player in a very attack-minded Spurs system. That just makes more sense to me at the moment. I think if Haaland plays well against West Ham, then I could easily switch Kane out for Haaland in Game Week 2 to get that Bournemouth fixture and potentially have my captaincy option there. But yeah, Kane, really good player, loving life under Conte. I think it's Jimmy Greaves' record that he potentially could break this year as the all-time top goal scorer for Spurs. So he'll definitely want to achieve that this year. I think he's only 20 goals off. And especially with the way that Conte has set up this side, that is definitely a doable target for Harry Kane. So yeah, I've gone Kane over Haaland. Which way are you kind of thinking at the moment? Let me know down in the comments below. Moving on to our final attacker and the final player within my Game Week 1 draft. It is Gabriel Jesus, another player absolutely killing it in pre-season at the moment. 7 goals in 5 games for him. A hat-trick against Sevilla as well yesterday, and there's a reason he's the highest owned player at the moment in the game with 68.3% ownership, and it's just down to the fact that he's amazing value at 8 million. A starting striker within a top 6 side is just absolutely phenomenal stuff. I think he will probably reach about 70% ownership come game week 1, just because he's a wonderful, fantastic player with Arsenal's amazing fixtures as well to start the year. Crystal Palace, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Aston Villa, Manchester United, Everton and Brentford away. Last season had 0.77 goals plus assists per 90, but did play a large majority of the kind of season out wide and drifting out wide. It's something that we did see within his game yesterday against Sevilla as well. There's a wonderful video on Tifo IRL discussing kind of the tactical formation and kind of the just general nuance of the game, and yeah, it was a really fascinating watch. Obviously Gabriel Jesus kind of drifted out wide as well within that system, so we potentially could see him get some assists as well as goals this year. But before we finish, let's take a look at the bench. Olsen played a few games for Villa. Few Villa fans potentially questioning Martinez's performance from last season, so maybe could work his way in. Again, there's no real good options at 4 million at the current moment, so I think you could kind of go for anyone. Yeah, doesn't really matter too much. Defender Williams, 4 million, going to be playing regular for Forest. Easy pick. Same with Andreas Pereira. Looks like he's going to be fairly nailed for Fulham at 4.5 million as well. He's probably the best 4.5 million midfielder that you can go for. There's De Silva as well from Brentford, and there's a lad from Southampton who's been playing regular minutes at 4.5 as well. Finishing up, we have got the forwards. I've just put any 4.5 million. Jordan Archer has scored 2 in pre-season. Plange, I think, has scored 4 for Crystal Palace. So there are some options at 4.5 million, but they're all going to be sat third sub on the bench. So that was my final Game Week 1 draft. Let me know what you think of the team. Let me know any players that you would change. If you have enjoyed today's video, please like, comment, and subscribe. But thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of your day.